You'll see if you examine the budget.
A new move from Ottawa to bring home so-called lost Canadians.
Under the new legislation, children born abroad to a Canadian citizen who is also born outside Canada will be a Canadian citizenship from birth if their parent can demonstrate they have a substantial connection to Canada. As long as a Canadian parent who was born outside of Canada has accumulated 3 years of time spent in Canada before the birth of the child, they'll be able to pass down their citizenship to their child.
That is Bill 671, the new Citizenship Act, which is set to be passed very soon. This news has caused a lot of controversy among some Canadians. A bit of a backdrop there. So this is AfriES. Money on your phone, on the AfriES app. You can download it wherever you are. Install the AfriES app and send money to your loved ones all over the world. When you use my promo code, which is actually displayed on the screen right now, you should be able to get a one-time $15 bonus. So in 2009, the Conservative government under the former Prime Minister Harper made changes to the Citizenship Act, which made it impossible for Canadian citizens to pass on their citizenship to children who were born outside of the country.
Ontario Superior Court has ruled it's unconstitutional for Ottawa to deny automatic citizenship to the children of foreign-born Canadians.
We talked to the family of one of those Canadians just now, and
Darcy is a rambunctious 2-year-old like a lot of Canadian kids.
He's a really cheerful, silly boy. He loves to joke.
Full of mischief?
Loves to ham it up.
But unlike other kids, when he was born, he had no citizenship at all.
You know, going through this was very, very difficult and very scary.
That's because he was born in Hong Kong, where both of his parents worked. Emma Kenyon and Dan Warelis were also born abroad, even though they spent most of their lives in Canada.
Canada's home for us.
Darcy fell into a crack created over a decade ago when the Canadian government amended citizenship laws so that Canadian citizenship could be passed down only 2 generations of people born outside Canada.
One of the stories that made headline in 2009, when the changes were made to the Citizenship Act, was an Edmonton woman by name Maruyama. Maruyama, who is of Hong Kong descent, who had 2 children, Akari and Arisa, born outside of Canada, was hoping to pass on a Canadian citizenship to them, but unfortunately the application was denied. In December 19, 2023, the Ontario Superior Court of Justice declared that the first generation limit for those born abroad is unconstitutional. So folks, that is it. That is how the lost Canadians will be returning home. If you are a Canadian citizen and you can demonstrate that you've lived in Canada for at least 3 years and you happen to give birth outside of Canada, obviously your child is not a Canadian citizen. But with the new citizenship bill, that Canadian parent, regardless of whether he himself or herself was born in Canada or was born outside of Canada, if that parent can demonstrate that they had 3 years of prior residence in Canada from the time they became citizen, they have the chance now to pass their citizenship to their child. Let me give you an example here. So let's say Shivani from India came to Canada as an international student and became a permanent resident and later on became a Canadian citizen. And Shivani has lived in Canada for 3 years since she got the citizenship. Shivani happened to find herself outside of Canada. Let's say she went back to India and then had kids there or had a child in India. Well, this child obviously should become an Indian citizen, right? Good, because he or she was born in India. But Shivani, per the new Citizenship Act, will be able to pass on her own Canadian citizenship to her child born in India. All she has to do is to prove that she herself is a Canadian citizen as a parent, regardless of whether she was born in Canada herself as a parent or was not born in Canada. The most important thing is that she is a Canadian citizen. She must also demonstrate that she has 3 years of residence in Canada since she became a citizen. Folks, automatically gets to pass on the citizenship to the child who was born outside Canada. I know a lot of things happen. Sometimes you happen to find yourself in other countries. Emergencies can take you there. You could go on vacation and life happens. You could give birth. While this could be good news to some sections of Canadians, it is definitely not a good news to some as well. Some have actually bashed the government as attempting to explode the population of Canada. What are your thoughts about this new legislation? Post your comments below and let me know what you think.